All right, hey guys, Jason here. We're up here. We are at Franklin GMC and Franklin Chevy here right across the street. They got the Toyota dealer, Statesboro, Georgia. Great place. And we are going to wander the lot. we're going to look at a few things. So you can see they got a lot of new vehicles that have come in. But what we want to really talk about today that I'm going to talk about as I wander around here. And then we're going to do a whole separate video. I'm going to show some of this kind of stuff as we walk here, but I just tried to make this. I spent 6 minutes trying to make this video, and I got too sidetracked by all of the new vehicles coming in and looking at them that I screwed the whole thing up. So we're going to make this one just about this, and that is going to be what kind of discount should you expect to get off of your truck purchase right now? Where should you be expecting it? Well, there's easy answer, and then there's a more complicated version. The easy answer is that during the last basically 12 months or whatever it is, 7% across the board seems to be the standard number. I put this in it was in an article that I read, and we put it in one of my newsfeed videos, and I don't remember which newsfeed video it was. You'll have to go back and look if you want the proof, but there is a video that we actually put out about this. 7% is average across the board, and it has been for basically most of 2024 into 2025. 7% is the average with incentives and things like that people are getting as a discount on their actual vehicles. So knowing that, you should be able to expect, as a general whole, to be able to get 7% off on whatever truck it is that you're looking at. Whatever vehicle it is that you are planning to buy, you should be expecting to be somewhere right around the 7% mark if you want to be average. Anything less than that, I would consider unacceptable. Now, there are some spots with that it might be a little more complicated. For example, Toyota. You know, you may not get a 7% discount with Toyota. If you're looking for a specific vehicle like a Supra, or you're looking for something like like a Mustang Dark Horse, you're probably not getting 7% off. Or a Ranger Raptor. Who you want to see what I'm getting at here? You're not going to get some of those on specialty vehicles, but overall on your normal everyday vehicles, I would think that somewhere in that 7% is going to be pretty normal. Now, I would actually be aiming higher than that on most trucks. Again, unless you are looking for a specific unique truck, such as a RHO. Even an RHO, you can get that kind of percentage off. But like a Ranger Raptor or a Raptor R, F-150 Raptor R, something like that, specifically specialized vehicle, maybe then you're going to see a little difference. But generally speaking, pretty much any of these, I would say that you're going to be able to get 7% off pretty easy, even right now with employee pricing, but even more so, probably closer to 10. I would not even look at any vehicle today. I would not look at any vehicle that I cannot at least get 10% off. It's just not worth it. If you can't get 10% off of MSRP, I have zero interest in buying it. What do we got here, for example? We got a 2025 2500 four-wheel drive Denali. We are coming in at $89,000 on this. 89 grand, if you can see that on there, $89,000. Okay, so call it 90 grand. Getting 9 grand off on this would not be, I don't believe would be that hard. And if it is, I'm walking. If I can't get at least 10% off, if I can't get 9 grand off of this, I have no interest in buying it. And that's what I think everybody should understand. That's the reality of it. Now, with that said, same thing here. If we take this 2500 work truck, or actually let's find and see if we got a 1500 work truck on here, for example, because I just got done doing a video on those, and I don't see one on a lot. I do not see one here. But for example, on a, if we were to take, I'm still just looking real quick to see if I'm gonna get lucky and find one sitting here somewhere. Let's just walk over here for a minute and take a peek. But so now every brand is gonna handle that deal differently. Okay, so you're gonna have Toyota that's gonna be the hardest to deal. The next hardest to deal is going to be Ford. Then from there, you're going into, Chevy will be better. Ram is always going to be the best. That's just the way it works. And Toyota worst, Ford second worst, then Chevy, then Toyota. And then Nissan's pretty good too. But if we take this, now this is the Pro version. This is the GMC version of this truck. But for example, if this was a Chevy version, this truck, I'll tell you what it's coming in at. This is a Pro, okay? It's a 1500 Pro. This one does not say four-wheel drive on it, so I'm not sure if it is or not. It doesn't say two-wheel drive or anything on here, but see, this is coming in at 40. I'm not sure, but let's just say, for example, that this was the Chevy Silverado in this truck, in a Chevy Silverado, and it had a price on it of $44,000, is a 4-wheel drive turbo max motor in it, and that's what this is. They're going for 10 grand off on that. So if you're 10 grand off on a $40,000 truck, you're basically over 20% off. Okay, if it's 40 grand, 10% would be 4,000, and then if you're at 20%, that's 8 grand. You're like 22% off is what some of these things are going for. That we're finding deals for these at right now. So that's a specific vehicle. If you think you're going to go up there to that Denali or one of these other ones like that, these more rare vehicles like you're going to find like that, you're probably not getting 20 or 22% off. So every vehicle is going to vary a little bit. So you have to understand that and take that into consideration. How do you find the best deal or what you can get? Use the online services. Okay, use the online services. Here's examples right here too. We can talk about this. Okay, you got Colorados. Okay, this truck, for example, I know this from fact. I know this because of doing the research and putting it in videos. The Colorado work truck, okay, the standard work truck right here will not deal as well as the Trail Boss will. Okay, and actually it's so close in price because of the deals that you can get on a Trail Boss, that when you take a Trail Boss and compare it to this, the Trail Boss is like almost the exact same price. It's within like $1,000 of the best deal you can get on one of these in a 4-wheel drive work truck to match with a 4-wheel drive Trail Boss, because the Trail Boss offers better deals and better options and are more willing to negotiate on those. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about when I say you got to really pay attention here. The best way to figure that stuff out is to actually go use the online services. Doesn't matter if it's cars.com, Car Gurus, Auto Trader, any one of them, and go in there and type the specific truck you're looking for. Okay, so you're gonna come in here and you're gonna say, I want a Trail Boss, and you're gonna select it. Now, the nice thing about a Trail Boss, it only comes with one motor for this truck in the Colorado. It's only got one engine. It only comes with 4-wheel drive, only one cab configuration, only one bed option. Okay, it's a very simple thing. So you put that in and you look it up, and then you're gonna go nationwide, and then you're gonna change your sort order by lowest. When you change it to lowest, you will see the lowest prices first. Then you can start using those as ballpark figures and ideas. Many of those are going to be a lot of clickbait type things where you're going to call them and say, hey, I see that you got that Trail Boss that's 41 grand and you got it for $37,000. I want that. Just tell me when to come in and get it. They're like, wait, hold on. And they're going to play the game with you. Okay, you don't qualify for this. You didn't qualify for this. You don't get this. Plus we add on this. Plus we have this. Plus we have that. That's all part of negotiation. You're going to have to learn how to beat that stuff out of there and get rid of that kind of thing. But you're going to play those games. But it's very easy to do. And I have videos that teach you how to do that. But that gives you the idea of what you should be looking at. I have, and again, it's on any of them. But now if you're going to look at something like this, a Silverado, for example, where you have four different motor choices that you can have in it. You got like 13 different trim levels. You got long bed, short bed, crew cab, half cab, double cab. You got standard cab. You got, my God, there's so many configurations. You're going to have to narrow those down to exactly what it is that you're looking for, so that you're comparing apples to apples, not apples to oranges. You can't compare and say I want a 5.3 liter Z71 Trail Boss package and then compare that and expect to get it for the price of a standard non-2-speed transfer case Turbo Max version of this right here. Okay, they're two different worlds. You're not going to compete in that same ball game. So you got to make sure that your comparisons are correct, that you're finding on there to get you that information. I have yet to ever not be able to get the prices that are at what I'm seeing on like Auto Trader is the one I use the most common. I have yet to ever buy a vehicle where I've not been able to get what I'm seeing as the lowest prices on there. Okay, oftentimes I can get lower and beat it, but I've never not been able to at least match what the lowest stuff is on that first page of Auto Trader when you start going through those. Never once have I failed to hit those. So you can. It does take some skill. It does take some negotiation. It does take some process to do, but it is very doable. So that's the best answer I have for you. You have to look at your specific vehicle, understand what the value is of it right now, what the deals are right now, what you think you can get, and it's all relative to so many factors that we can't control. For example, if I call this dealership and I'm looking for a GMC. I say I want a GMC and I want it with a Duramax in it. Okay, well, I can look at this here in this dealership, and they got a Duramax there, and they got a Duramax here, and they got a Duramax and a Duramax, and then they say another one and another. They got, like, say they got 10 Duramaxes around here spread out on here. This one's going to be pretty willing to let me take one for a lower price. Had I called up to a different dealership and their GMC section looks like the Chevy section does here, and they only have 4 of them and only one of them has a Duramax, they're probably not going to deal as well for me to give me that number. See what I'm talking about? Every dealership changes. There's so many parts to the equation. The only way you figure this out is you start making phone calls, or you start talking to their online department, and you start looking to see what you can do. I have also never been able to get the same great deal on 2 different vehicles at the same place twice. Okay, what I mean by that is just because where I would get, like, say, my Ram, my 2019 Ram 15 or 2500, they gave me an amazing deal on that Ram truck. Okay, amazing deal. It was incredible. I called up there literally 3 weeks later to try and get a deal on my Jeep Renegade, and they were ridiculously high, way off. And then the price I ended up getting that Renegade for, believe it or not, was 40% under MSRP. It was the best I've ever done on a vehicle. It was during COVID, but it was still, I got a $26,500 MSRP window sticker vehicle out the door, taxes included and everything, for $16,800. It was the best car deal I've ever done in my life, hands down. Nothing has ever beat it. I've never done better. And the dealership I ended up buying it from, not knowing it at the time, was literally like 8 miles away or 9 miles away from the dealership that I bought the Ram, which was both 6.5 hours from my house, one way. Okay, that doesn't happen very often. But point being, a difference of, call it a dozen miles, the difference was night and day, like $4,000 difference on that vehicle. Okay, so this is what I'm getting at. So there are so many variables. The only way to answer this question is for you to answer it for yourself, to call. You might even, hey, well, my buddy got 10 grand off on this vehicle at this dealership. I'm just going to call them. Go ahead, see how that goes for you. Okay, you'll call them up, say, hey, Tom, Dick, and Harry just went and came in here and bought this, and they got 10 grand off. Can I get 10 grand off too? They're like, no, sorry. We might have gave them 10 grand off before, but we had more of them at the time, and these were these ones, and now we don't have those, and no, you can't get it, and we're not offering it to you, and it's not an option. Okay, see what I'm getting at? The only way for you to make that deal work for yourself is to actually chase that deal down for yourself. But these are the numbers that you can expect. My opinion, 10% minimum. That's what I would be going for in the world that we're in today. 10% minimum is what I want. If I can get 15, I'm getting better. If I can get closer to 20, I'm getting excited. I can break 20, I'm a really happy guy. That's where I'm standing. But again, it's vehicle dependent. There are certain vehicles that I would do that on. On a Turbo Max 4-cylinder Silverado, I would be expecting 20% off all day long on these things, because they pump them out cookie cutter, dime a dozen, thousands of them laying everywhere, all over the place, easy peasy, nothing to it. Same with a lot of the Colorado stuff. But again, specific vehicles may be less. Actually, we'll take that Trail Boss, for example. That Trail Boss, right now, I don't know how they're dealing right now, but we're starting to see many more of them. We got one here, starting to see the 2025s, but literally a month and a half ago, these things were incredibly rare and hard to find. The 2024s were mostly gone. The 2025s weren't really showing up too much yet, and dealerships were a lot more stingy on them because they didn't have the availability of them. If you're a lot like this and people are looking for Trail Bosses and you have 1, 2 Trail Bosses is all you have, these guys aren't going to deal very well on these 2 Trail Bosses. That's all they got. That's a 2-wheel drive, that's a 2-wheel drive, that's a 2-wheel drive, and that's a 2-wheel drive. That's a 4-wheel drive, and this is a 4-wheel drive. That's the only 2 they got here, 4-wheel drive. They're both, only 2 Colorados here are 4-wheel drive are these 2 Trail Bosses. You think they're going to give you 20, 18, 15, 18, 20% off on those? No. It's all they have. They're not going to play that game. So you need to find the dealers that have more of those and that kind of stuff, and then you can work those. So that's the process. That's what I think you can expect to get. Questions, comments, anything you got, put them down below. As always, thanks for watching.